So we're talking Celtics Nets. You were about to say something about Kevin Durant in the last video, and I wanted to give you the opportunity here to do that.
Oh, yeah. If for whatever reason, and I do not foresee this, I have, just to start out the beginning of the video, I have the Nets in 5. But for whatever reason, if somehow in hell this Celtics team beats the Brooklyn Nets, I'd never want to talk about Kevin Durant again.
The reason why you have to say that is because of two things. Brad Stevens is a great coach that will come with a great game plan, and this team can't play defense. In my opinion.
The Celtics?
The Nets cannot defend anyone. That's their recipe. But I'm sorry I cut you off. Continue.
No. I agree. That's the only way that possible that I think that this team could, the Celtics could beat the Nets.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I had to give it percentages, I'm giving Celtics like a 2% chance. Like I have it pretty clear that the Nets. I'm giving them one game, and it's only because of my man Jason Tatum.
Oh man, how proud are you of that guy?
Yo, so unlike Kawhi Leonard, right? I am proudly happy to say that this is Kobe's protege.
Wow.
I think I was talking about this last year because I remember young Kobe versus old Kobe. I remember thinking that between Kawhi Leonard and Jason Tatum, and that was and for anybody who cares and thinks that I talk about Kobe way too much, I agree, and I don't care. He's literally the reason I watch basketball. So if I see people who look like him or have something,
the name of your viewing basketball, it's I miss Kobe, and I'm trying to find the next one at all times.
Exactly, and that's all. And I'm rooting for this man. Jason Tatum is the man, and he just produces. He if you ask him for something, he's doing it. What we asked him for last game.
Yeah, it's what I was about to say.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know what I have to call him because Iverson was called the answer. Like you had a question, he answered it, right? Like Jason Tatum is just like the giver. I'm gonna call him the giver now. Yeah, I remember that book that we had to read, and
yes.
That's what he's the giver.
You know what's crazy? You went to a different high school than I did, and Lindsay did. We all went to different fucking places, and all of us had to read that shit. That's fucking insane.
That's Jason Tatum's new name is the giver. You ask him, and he gives it to you. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna give it to you. And
I can't believe
50 piece. He's 50 piece in the Nets in one of these games, 100%. And if he doesn't, I'm okay with like a 48 piece. But you win in one of these games off a Jason Tatum wild out game.
So I asked for 40. I asked for 40 in the playing game.
Yep.
And much like Kobe did on his last night to Shaq, when Shaq asked for 50, he said, "Fuck you. I'm gonna give you 10 points more than what you asked for."
Yeah. Yep.
I love that shit.
Yeah. Beautiful. And
I was impressed.
My whole thing is the Nets defense is not much different than the Wizards defense. Not great.
But that's what I was going to say. I think you're going to see a lot of the pace was up too.
Yeah, and
it wasn't that slow of a pace. It was a lot of up and down, run and gun stuff that we're seeing on the screen. We're watching the highlights of the playing game here.
Yep.
Close game. But Tatum torched them, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing we thought was going to happen. What we're seeing here with Kemba just giving the business, that was what needed to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts.
That was one of those, we looked at it and was like, if Kemba doesn't perform, I can't imagine the Celtics winning. And that's why I was worried about them taking or entering the play-in tournament. Because I was like, I feel like Tatum by himself can't do it.
Yeah. But the only thing that I really like about this is I'm pretty sure Kemba has a thing against Kyrie too. Like it might not be a narrative, but I'm making it a narrative. You wanna know why? Because we gotta add some shit. Like I said, we gotta add some sazon, some fucking adobo to the steak or chicken, whatever we doing. This is what I'm doing. Kemba don't like Kyrie. Yeah. Kyrie was here before, right? And everybody probably thinks and should think Kyrie Irving is the better guard. Boston missed out on losing Kyrie, all this other stuff. Kemba wants to let him know, like, bruh, I'm going to smoke you and let them know fuck you.
If you ask Bill Simmons, who generally speaks for Boston and their teams, right? He knew that Kemba Walker was worse than Kyrie Irving, but I'd never been happier to get Kemba Walker because of how Kyrie left Boston, just with just an awful taste in his mouth, you know, like or in the fans' mouth. Look,
man,
I think that the Nets should win this, but I'm giving the Celtics at least 2 games. And if you told me it went 7, it wouldn't surprise me, and here's why.
Yeah.
Who's a better coach, Steve Nash or Brad Stevens?
Yeah,
I don't think it's that close. How about Mike D'Antoni? How about Mike D'Antoni or Brad Stevens?
Brad Stevens. I think no matter what, Brad Stevens is the better coach. But it's Steve Nash obviously is like a brand new head coach. Like
right.
Yeah. Like,
also, that team has been like very weird about coaching in general. Just like a very much like we're doing what we want. It's a players' team.
Yeah.
Whatever weird shit that they put out. But I think Brad Stevens has made upsets happen. has made upsets happen repeatedly in the playoffs. Yep. He's been to multiple conference finals when he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
And
he made a team worse than this go 7 games with LeBron James.
Exactly. And I think that the Celtics get 2 games. One for Tatum catching fire, and then the other one for Brad Stevens coaching. And so I'll take the Nets in 6. Because the Nets are the best offensive team I've ever seen.
Oh, I disagree with that.
From start to finish.
Why'd you have to do this? Because I cannot let you say that. That's so disrespectful to the 2017 Golden State Warriors. No way.
I think this team is better offensively than that team.
You are bugged out.
Okay, talk to me.
Warriors, the flow of the game, the freaking passing all over the place. I understand that this team passes more than we expected, and I think that's why you probably feel that way. But that Golden State Warriors team.
I'm not talking defense. Let's be very clear. Take the defensive shit out of it. Anything that you're thinking about defense about the 2 teams, take it out of your brain, because I'm not talking about that at all.
But you want to know why it can't get out of your brain is because the biggest thing about the Warriors, and you know it, and you know damn well I'm about to say this, what their biggest thing was their spurts. And the reason their spurts was such a big deal is they'll go on a 2 to 3 minute lockdown period where they'll lock you down, you can't score a fucking point, and they scored 20 points because they just locked you up and then started chucking threes. And it's just like, the game's out of hand. This team cannot do that at all, and that matters. Like, sure, you could say, well, let's not talk about defense, but their defense always led to offense.
But I said strictly that this is the best offensive team I've ever seen. And if you want to talk about transition, no problem. If you want to talk about half court, they have three top 10 shot creators and ball handlers in the league. That's never happened before. It's never happened. The Warriors in 2017 had 2, definitively.
Yes.
But if they didn't have a playbook, this Nets team, they'd still drop 130 on anybody. Because if everything goes wrong in a play, you give it to Kevin Durant, James Harden, or Kyrie Irving. And I bet you 50% or more of the time, shot's going to go in. Or they're going to kick it to somebody and they're going to be open for a shot. Offensively, if you don't score 125 points, you can't beat Brooklyn. And this is the 06 Suns on steroids. On mega steroids. Because it's the brain trust, and that's what they're doing. They're not trying to hold the ball on offense much longer than 7 seconds. A lot of these highlights we're seeing right here against Cleveland is a lot of fucking this. Back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And this is, if the 06 Suns are the beginning of the archetype, and we move it I'd have to really look into it. But this is that. They're the evolution of that, for sure.
Yeah.
One of these days, if the Nets make the finals, I'll give you a full archetype on this fucking thing. I'll have that ready to go.
I'm not mad at them being a great offense and everything. I'm taking the Golden State offense.
Okay, maybe I was trying to trigger you a little bit, but my point is,
okay,
this offense.
I'm not mad because Brooklyn is definitely a great offense. But I'm just that Golden State. I've never seen a team like that. Like
I just think don't be surprised. Don't be surprised by Brooklyn, man. I'm terrified of this team because if they're all healthy, which they really haven't been all season, where all three of them play.
Yeah.
Harden, Durant, Kyrie. I
tell you one thing. I'm not rooting against them. From the very beginning, like before really talking to you, I was a huge Kyrie Irving fan.
Sure.
But during that time, it's not really your fault that I hate Kyrie. I don't really hate Kyrie anyways, but I just don't like some of his leadership shit. Like
sure.
It's just obviously when you're a Kobe Bryant fan, it'll make you
even though
he idolized.
A lot of reason to believe that Kobe gave him a lot of advice on leadership.
Yeah,
there's a lot of reason to believe that.
I don't know, man. But let's not get into that. But I love Kevin Durant. I wanted him to win. I wanted him to at least be up there for MVP. I thought he won it because of the star shit. And James Harden, I'm happy with the way he's playing now. I think this should be a clear W for Brooklyn. I think they should get some nice little quick chemistry in, win in 5, get some rest for until the next series and whatever, and get ready to lose in 6.
This was amazing. This was amazing.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That was freaking.
If the game is that, if this is the ball game, they're winning in 5, and if they can create this, because you can create it if you're a good enough team, you can create mayhem, like you were saying with Golden State. I don't know if there's that next level. If we're gonna see regular season Brooklyn, I'll take them in 6. But if there's another level, I agree with you. I think I'll take them in 5.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a nice little. Let's show the NBA what we could do, and it's gonna be just terror for Boston.
Yeah,
they're gonna lose in 5. You're gonna get Jason Tatum giving me a nice little 50 piece, and then you get to see Brooklyn lose to Milwaukee or the Heat, whatever we want.
Wow, fascinating. We're getting to that when we get to it. Lindsay, I'm gonna ask you about your opinion on the series, but the first thing I want to ask you is, how do you feel about Blake Griffin, dude? You must be happy.
I'm really, really excited about the prospect of Blake Griffin being a champion and the fact that he's playing well. My goodness. I missed it so much. I didn't realize how much I missed it, but I really missed getting like a little like tweet and there's like Blake Griffin dunking. It makes me happy inside.
He's been awesome on defense.
Yeah, he's just been
a statement I thought I'd never hear.
Is this your East team that you're rooting for, Lindsay?
This is again the year like when we talked about my bracket initially that I didn't want to decide because I just like everybody. So I'm really stuck between Brooklyn or Philly, if I'm being honest.
Brooklyn or Philly?
Yeah, because Brooklyn is really only because of Blake Griffin. Like, I probably wouldn't have been rooting for them if it wasn't for him.
I like that.
No, I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at this brother sipping on his little sippy cup in the corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Brooklyn or Philly for me for the East.
Brooklyn's definitely my team to make it out of the East inevitably, but we got to see what happens after this. They're going to have a harder road to get there than I think. We're going to know. Put it this way. If Brooklyn makes the finals, we'll know a lot about them because they're going to see plenty of competition. You know what I mean? But I agree with you that it should be 5.
Yeah. If it's not 5, I'm not going to lie. I'd be very disappointed.
It's really about it's about how it happens. Like if they lose it in crunch time, like I'll be upset. Yeah. But if it's just like they can't make a shot or somebody gets hurt, that's
the part that I want to see happen. Because so this is my biggest thing with that because I know you mentioned
people get hurt.
No. Not making a shot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My biggest thing with Brooklyn is a lot of people, including like exactly what you just said, and I agree with it for the most part. But you look at it as how could they not get a bucket because you got 3 walking buckets on that team, which I agree. But when the going gets tough, and the playoffs are the playoffs, no matter what, you get into those moments where you have the tight games, you have to play defense and get a stop. Yeah. Brooklyn cannot do that. So that puts more pressure on those 3 guys. You have to consistently give us those buckets. Can you do that for an entire series? I don't care if it's Kyrie. I definitely do. If it has to be Harden, you're screwed. Yeah. So it has to be Kyrie or KD. So you really only have 2. I don't care what anybody says. We haven't seen Harden hit a big bucket in a playoff series ever. And if we did, that shit was like 7 years ago. So I don't want to hear that.
Big stop against Lou Dort last year.
Yeah, I'm talking about a bucket though. That's his bread and butter is supposed to be that. But so that's my biggest thing is you're not going to be able to stop someone, and you're gonna. So that's where the pressure comes in with those guys. Like you have to make the buckets every single time because you're not stopping the person on the other side of the court. And and basketball is not a freaking make and take kind of thing. Like, well, is that the right wording? Make and take. Like,
see, this is the thing that I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, make and keep. Sorry, not it's make.
I know what you're saying. I'm not sure if anyone because this is my thing. If you play perfect defense for 23 seconds and it ends up in Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, or James Harden's hand, you're still fucking nervous about it. You got to play 24 seconds of great defense against this team all the time. And I don't know I don't know if any team, especially in the East, has the defensive personnel to get it done. The only team that would be kind of close would be Milwaukee because of Drew Holiday's reputation is the only reason why I can really think that, and the Giannis being the freak that he is. That's but other than that, how can you stop this? I say it again. You got to put up at least 125 or more, or you stand no chance. Because I feel like the big 3 on this team could average 30 a night.
All 3 of them?
They could. I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying they could. There's a universe where that happens. Harden gets you his 25 and 10. Kevin Durant gets you his 30 on 15 shots. Yeah. And Kyrie just does all the other stuff. You know what I mean? Like if there's any inefficiency, it's going to be from him. And this guy still put up 50, 40, 90 this year. Like all these guys are in their prime.
You think the inefficiency is going to come from Kyrie? I look at the inefficiency coming from James Harden.
Not if he's playing the way he's played this year. It's not. Yeah,
but
if he's playing, like I said, if we're going to see Rockets Harden, then sure. But you and I can both say with certainty that that's not who we're looking at right here, and that's who we haven't seen that guy in months. So why would he come out now? Seems unlikely. I'm saying
thing is James Harden. James Harden right now is kind of like a mix between Rockets Harden and Thunder Harden. Either way, both Hardens.
I don't know if I agree.
That's fine. Either way, both Hardens choke in the playoffs. Okay, it could be the.
I don't think he's going to be put in that position ever. I just don't. Why would he be?
That's what I'm saying is you need this dude to be able to do. My main answer to this whole thing is it all sounds good. Based off what I've seen and I know about basketball in the last 12 straight years of me watching, is you got to play defense to win a championship. No team I've never ever seen a team make someone have to score 125 points or more to beat them and win a championship. And that it all sounds great until you do it. I don't expect them to do it. So, and I see this being a second round team, second round out, just like I thought.
We'll see.
5 months ago.
We'll see. We will definitely find out. So, this was a very unexpected part of the Celtics Brooklyn series preview that I had not anticipated when we originally recorded. Well, I guess none of us really saw this coming on Friday. We're taping this on Sunday, and Dario, you want to tell everybody what you decided to do yesterday?
So, I was there just doing my normal early morning routine, listening to a podcast.
Where's your hometown? Where are you near? Just for the
people. Oh yeah, so it's easiest for me to say Syracuse. So
yeah,
I live in Syracuse. I'm from New York City though. But I'm now living in Syracuse. So I was listening to a podcast and I hear the person on the podcast making fun of the Nets for not being able to sell tickets or whatever. And then they said that the Nets tickets were $90. And I was like, there's no freaking way that the Brooklyn Nets tickets are $90 for a playoff game. So I go and I look on Ticketmaster and it was 105. So I was like, all right, whatever. He was just gassing it a little bit.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I was still like, I was still cheap. And then so I was like, I feel like I want to go. Like I was like I text you guys. I think I text you guys like, yo, tickets are $105. Like I might want to do this shit. So then I actually started looking into it, and I look at like the nicer seats or whatever, and it was like $300 and I'm like, for a freaking playoff game, like you get to see Kyrie. All I was thinking in my head is you get to see Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, James Harden, and freaking Jason Tatum play for $300. I'm like, I definitely want to do this shit.
Yeah.
So I contacted like all of my friends pretty much, like, and you needed to be fully vaccinated to get it.
I could not go yet.
Yeah, well, you could have went non-vaccinated, but it costs like $2,000 for a ticket.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like I don't know if there was just so many people. I don't know if it got like most of them got bought out, and then the last couple of seats were just left, and they were $2,000. I don't know, but that was super expensive, and everybody that I knew that would want to go that was not vaccinated was not going to pay $2,000. So, and I would have felt so bad making them go like.
Oh, it's great! I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that part.
Yeah. So then
all you said to me, and the text will be up on your screen because this is exactly what you said. You said, "Oh, you're not vaccinated. Don't even worry about it." I didn't know anything about the money.
Yeah, no, but I didn't. It's because
that's hilarious. Knowing
at that point, at that point, I didn't even know that it was. I didn't even think to check. So I was like, and then I noticed that there was a non-vaccinated section, like option. So I clicked on that just to see because I felt so bad because I was just getting everybody excited. Like, yo, you want to go to an NBA game? And then every single time I noticed, like, oh, you guys aren't vaccinated. My bad. Like. So I just kept getting everybody's hopes up, and then they just it was pretty shitty on my part. But so mind you guys, look, this is at like 12:30, 1 o'clock that I'm thinking of this. The game is on at 8. If you guys know, Syracuse is 4.5 hours away normally because it's a Saturday. You're gonna be going down to Brooklyn and whatever. It was a 5-hour drive because of the traffic and stuff.
Sure.
So
I would have thought more, honestly.
Yeah. So
on Saturday.
So I'm over here, and so I called my girlfriend because she went to the library or whatever for whatever reason. She's a little nerd, and and I go and ask her like, would you go? At first, she didn't want to go because she's like, it's a beautiful day and we're gonna waste it driving.
She's not a basketball fan.
Yeah, she's not a basketball fan. But then I told her that Kyrie was gonna play it, and she is a Kyrie Irving fan. So
that's so interesting.
Yeah. So she that kind of got her a little excited about going.
Right.
And then I finally got to convince her, and we had to do a few things before we left. So we left at about 3:05, 3:10, something like that. Right. And we went to the game. I ended up getting to New York City right at 8. It was like right on time. I was like perfect time. I'm like, let's go. I had already bought like reserved parking. So I go to the parking place, and that took forever because everybody was going to the same freaking parking place, which pissed me the hell off. I thought this was gonna be like a 6,000 seater or whatever.
Yeah.
Based off the information that I had heard, and then I looked on the attendance thing on the NBA app. There was 14,000 people there, And I'm like, that makes way more sense because I was like, how the hell is there 6,000 people here? This looks freaking packed as hell. I'm like, wow, 6,000 people is a lot of people, I guess. But whatever.
So what time is it when you get in the arena?
I get in the arena, I want to say at like 9-ish, 9, 10. Like literally, I should have been there at 8 and I didn't get there until like 9, about 9 o'clock. Yeah. I remember that there was like a minute left to halftime. Like,
so me and Lindsay are here at the house watching the game. And it's like there's heavy fouls going both ways. Kevin Durant takes this crazy layup where I thought he like broke his whole wrist.
Oh yeah,
on his body.
I saw that.
You were there for that. You got to see that.
I know. I saw it on the highlight.
But see, all I could think was, I looked at Lindsay. I went, Dario's there for all of this. This is crazy. Yeah, and then you texted me like, I just got here. I was like, no.
Yeah, I was so pissed. I was so mad because the parking situation screwed me the hell up. But either way, I get there, finally get to watch the game, and I felt like it was still worth it. Like, because I got to see at the end of the day, the second half is the most important half. We all know that.
And it was close. It was competitive the whole time.
Yeah, until the last couple minutes.
A game that Brooklyn was in that actually hit the under, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, literally, I swear that there's a handful of games where Brooklyn has not. And if
I can find their record this season of that, if I can find their record, it'll be on your screen 100%.
230 points was like easily attainable for all the time. Every single game that Brooklyn played, I want to say 95% of them were over 130 points. Yeah. I mean 230 points between the two teams.
Yeah.
So now to actually talk about the basketball and not my complaints about parking and stuff.
That's why I held the highlights up for a second, because I wanted to let you talk about basketball while basketball is on the screen.
So the first thing is Kevin Durant and cueing the little thing. Kevin Durant is 100% a unicorn. He is majestic. You don't understand what it is. People say it, and you hear like random commentators talk about it and make him seem like he's like crazier or whatever. And you've been watching him for so many years that you don't think about it. But when you actually see the man in like person, it's like a majestic being. Like for a guy to be 7 foot tall and to be able to shoot and do everything that he does, it's just insane. Like especially if you appreciate the game of basketball, there's nothing on a basketball court offensively that Kevin Durant cannot do. And like, it was just amazing to watch. Like immediately once you watch the game, within the first 5 minutes of me actually watching, I already knew who Kevin Durant was. But if you didn't, you would know immediately that he was the best player on the court. And it wasn't even like, it's not even a question. Like I remember during the preview, we mentioned that if Kevin Durant's not healthy, it's James Harden or whatever, right? Like, but Kevin Durant healthy, even like...
Yeah, you're basically here to say, fuck all that. We were wrong.
Yeah, Kevin Durant is the best player on that team, and it's not even close. And the next thing is watching Kyrie Irving live. That was perfect timing. See, I saw this happen. Like, all of this shit, like his footwork, his crossover, his dribbling, everything. It's like beautiful to watch. And it's so fun to watch. Like, watching him play is like not boring at all, ever. And everybody in that freaking arena loved him. Brooklyn fans, you guys are annoying as shit, by the way. It's very annoying to go to an arena and like watch like the fandom be a fan. That's what makes me know I'm definitely not a Laker fan like that, because I would never do any of the stuff that these people do. I'm like, I like basketball. I hate when fans just randomly like bitch about a call that's obviously a call. Like, I hate that. I've always hated that. Even as a Laker fan, like when they, I try not to do that. Like, if there's a call that goes away, like I'll usually be honest about it or whatever. But my next thing is, and this might be a little bit of a hot take, but James Harden is really not that fun to watch. At least in this game that I watched, like I was not really the whole dribbling and then the step back and stuff, like, it
I
wasn't
don't know
fun.
if that's a hot take. I feel like people were bitching about that in Houston. Like, this is a really boring offense. Like, people.
Oh, really? Okay. So that makes me feel better. 'Cause I felt like I was like shitting on. I'm like, I know James Harden is great, but when I was watching him, I was just like, you're not wowing. Like, it does not wow me at all. And I'm not. You obviously, as a playoff game, you don't really have to wow me, but
You're probably right.
naturally,
You're probably right here.
yeah, I was.
Somewhere right in here. You
I
gotta.
might even be. We might be even be able to pinpoint.
You gotta send me the videos and the pictures, and I'll throw them in the video. So
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but then
here's my question for you. Can I share a question with you?
Yeah.
Score was 104-93. I mentioned the under, but I want to be specific.
Yep.
Talk to me about Brooklyn's defense in person.
Yeah. So they were a little better than expected.
A little.
But my whole thing, and I don't know if this is just me being a hater or whatever, but I watched that game and I feel like the reason this at least Boston score was as low as it was more so because Boston couldn't fucking buy buckets. Like,
I always feel that more when I'm at the game than on TV. It doesn't feel the same when you're up, but when you're there, you can feel it when there's a lid on the rim.
There were so many open shots that Boston missed.
Yeah.
And all I felt while watching that was and I don't know if this came off to you like when you were watching the game, but I felt like they swarmed Jason Tatum whenever he got the ball. Like, it was like, get the ball out of this guy's hands, make everybody else beat us.
Yeah.
And that was as simple as that. Like, once you did that, it was over. Like they're not gonna, the rest of the team is not gonna be able to keep up with obviously Kyrie, KD, and James Harden. So that was my thing. Like, I think if Brooklyn was facing like in this game in particular, if they were facing a more elite team or elite level team, that is actually more of a contender, right, they would have hit a lot of those open shots that they were letting them get. Like, there was so many open shots that I just watched, and I was like, this is not because of defense that this is, they're not making it. It's just you just missed the shot, which is okay because that's part of basketball anyways. But like the 6-for-20 Jason Tatum, like I would put that more towards Brooklyn's defense because that's what kind of what the strategy was. Yeah. But like the 5-for-16 for Kemba Walker wasn't really Brooklyn's defense. Like, I saw Kemba miss a lot of open shots. Like,
yeah, he's 5 for 16.
Marcus Smart missed a couple open shots too. Like,
was this like a very obvious they're missing Jaylen?
It was like a lot of open threes. I remember seeing them. Like, if you hit this, like if you hit at least three of the like 10 that you've missed, like you're in the game. Like it's, I don't know. And they were winning at halftime. So
that's what I just pulled up half numbers because I was about to look at. None of the main scores for Boston at the end of the game kept above 50%. None of them. Yeah. Jason Tatum's 15 points on 14 shots. So what you're saying is accurate. Tatum needed to be the main scorer, just like he needed to be against Washington, right?
Yeah.
And the defensive game plan by the Nets sounds solid. But the question I have about the open three specifically is, and then I want Lindsay to ask her question again, but the open threes, do you feel like it was good defense or just plain old missing shots? Try to look at it objectively. Because you were there, so you have the privilege of not being able.
So when you say good defense,
you can see whatever you want on the floor.
You saying that it's good defense because that's what they wanted them to do is you shoot that three instead of like, because I guess in that case, if you want to talking towards the strategy of, all right, I'm going to stop Jason Tatum, make the other guys beat me. Look, the other guys aren't beating me. I guess that works out, but it's just like obviously Boston has the good ball movement. Like, that's always been a thing with Boston. Yeah, and Boston's ball movement was getting them a lot of those open shots.
Right.
They just weren't executing. Like, I really do feel like if
Tatum 0 for 6 only made buckets at the free throw line.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Second half.
Wow. He missed free, and I remember he missed 2 straight free throws. Right. That kind of fucked up a lot of shit. And then he was missing layups. Like I was like, yo, damn, like that. You could tell that he felt like he was. You could tell it was more so he was rushed.
Right.
He was like, I feel like I got to get to my spot right away because like I'm gonna get swarmed. Like, which is good defense there because that's what they're pushing to do.
Right.
But I really do think if Jaylen Brown was in this game,
that was this question.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this is more of a game, a tighter game, and I think it also takes away that Jason Tatum situation. I think Jason Tatum gets to be himself a little more, and it gives them more of a shot to actually be in the series and possibly win this game too.
Right. It's really interesting that Durant and what was Kyrie at the half? I don't think he was shooting efficiently either. But in the second half,
oh yeah, like 12 points at the half or something.
At the second half, when you were in the building, they were doing what great players do. Yeah, same thing. Kyrie Irving, not efficient. James Harden, not efficient. But in the second half, they turned it around. Kyrie had 20 points in the second half, shooting 75%, I'm pretty sure. 70%. 7 for 10, right? Harden, 13 points. Like,
I would like to add, just because this is actually cool stuff these were little things that I wanted to notice.
Yeah.
While I was there, because you never get to see this on TV.
Agreed.
I wanted to look at these things. Like, I wanted to see like Kyrie Irving's interaction in the huddles and stuff.
Okay,
like,
talk to me.
The very first time I like was paying attention to it, he was very like distant. It didn't seem like he really cared about talking to anybody or whatever. Like he seemed very diva-ish to me. So I was like, okay. But then towards the rest of the game, he definitely seemed like he was more so cooperating as a teammate and stuff. You could tell that Kevin Durant is the leader of that team.
Right.
When you're there and you're watching him interact with people, like after like just the little things, like after a good possessions and stuff, like he goes to every single one of the teammates and like tells them good shit and stuff, like little things like that to like build up the camaraderie and stuff. Like nobody else is really doing that. I mean, James Harden kind of did it a little bit too, but that was little things that I wanted to watch and see because watching on TV you never get to see any of that shit. So I thought it was interesting to look at that. And then another thing, Jason Tatum is actually pretty freaking huge. He does not look like that on the screen, but he's like jacked. Like
I always have that experience whenever I see basketball live. I always think these guys are more brolic than I think on TV.
Yeah, like when he was next to Blake Griffin to me, and on TV it never looks like that, but he looked just as big as Blake Griffin.
That's interesting because they always lie about the heights on like.
I'm talking about like in terms of muscular. Like he was like he looks way like thinner on TV. I feel like when I was watching,
I'm not disagreeing at all.
Yeah.
But last thing on this, and then we're gonna just let the series play out, and we won't talk to you until we have a winner here.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing that you think the Celtics can do going into the rest of the series?
I don't know, man. I really don't see them like having a shot of winning this series or
sure.
You need to rely on too many other people to do well.
Right.
I think that makes it like Shaq always says you have to get the others.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like it's so difficult when they're making the superstar have so much issues throughout the series. Like because usually you get what you're gonna get from the superstar no matter what.
Right.
But because there's not that many others to like help, it's very easy to kind of swarm the superstar, and it just makes like I feel like the only game they're gonna get is just like what we said. Like Jason Tatum's gonna have to do a 50. He's just gonna have to get hot one game and just wild out.
The rest of the team too. Like Fournier's gonna have to play better. Kemba Walker's got to be the guy that was in the playing game.
Yeah,
that's not who we saw in this game.
Yeah, for sure. I got the one crossover Kemba had in the game.
Yeah,
I was so hyped that I watched because I was just like, yo, I'm just gonna videotape this one possession, and it's Kemba just dribbling and stuff, and then he did the one little crossover and he made the shot too. I was like, oh, that was a perfect play to catch it.
That'll be on your screen.
Yeah.
But But
and I also want to say I'm hoping it goes to like 5 or something. But if not, I'm contemplating going to another game. Another one of these because
you're a savage.
Yeah, I really am contemplating because I want it, depending on how expensive the tickets are, because the Boston tickets were like double the price of the Nets tickets. So
yeah, well that's why I haven't been to a Celtic game. I've been to a Sixers game. I've been to several Brooklyn games. The Brooklyn prices are pretty good, but I've
I just
never
want to experience the whole game.
TD Garden.
Like I just want to experience the whole game. Like it made me happy to actually watch the a playoff game because they're going 100% at it, like they're playing at their best because they need to win a series, so it was fun to watch like NBA players at their peak, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I am going to try to go to, my plan was to go to playoff games last year, but I wasn't trying to go to Disney.
Yeah.
But we will see you when this series ends.